This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Rachel Fife.
Well, welcome to the Good Neighbor Podcast. Now, if you are looking for a faith-based community to help you grow, connect, and serve, well, that resource is closer than you think. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing your good neighbor, lead pastor Tim Ellington, with the Aldersgate United Methodist Church. Tim, how's it going?
It is going great. It is great to be with you, Rachel. Thanks for hosting us on your podcast.
Well, we are so excited to learn about your church and community. So tell us all about it.
Yeah, so our name is Aldersgate United Methodist Church. We're in Tustin. We've been here for 66 years. And, our vision is to connect, grow, and serve so nobody walks alone. That's really our mantra, what we say a lot. So nobody walks alone. We're really just passionate about building community. And walking with God, walking with each other, walking with those in need. I do like the name of your podcast. I do, sermons every Sunday. And last year I did a sermon series called Like a Good Neighbor, and just exploring, if Jesus sums up the teaching, the Bible, love God, love your neighbor, how can we be a community that is truly loving our neighbors? So that's kind of the heart of who we are. I would say we really understand that we exist for the sake of others, that we really are here to serve others. We love our partnerships here in Tustin. We love our partnerships with the Tustin Community Foundation. We hosted on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, a day of service. We had 140 folks come out and just serve in like 12 different sites here in Tustin, just service opportunities. We were just part of the Tustin Community Foundation's Paper Football Challenge, which was last Saturday. It's an event here in Tustin, and we're kind of paper football powerhouse. We made it to the finals. We lost, but that's okay. But we love our partnerships across the board. And I think just one other thing just to say as far as introducing our church is we really are an intergenerational church family. We have a great children's center. Where we offer, just have a lot of programs for children. Our youth, our children's ministries are strong, all the way up to ministry, with senior adults. And so I think one of the things I really appreciate about our community is we're intergenerational and we really have a heart for serving others.
I love that. Well, now, how did you get into this line of service and, work?
Yeah, so I went to college not expecting to become a pastor. I actually majored in political science, went to a school called Occidental College. But while I was there, I got involved in campus ministry, and my father is in fact a pastor. So I certainly had that category, but I think it was really from being involved in doing what campus ministry as far as speaking and teaching and mentoring people and coaching people. I felt that, this is what I want to do with my life. And then felt led to do that within the United Methodist Church, because obviously there's so many different churches. But I love within the United Methodist Church, our focus is really on grace. And that's actually our church's theme this year is grace. So what does it mean to receive grace, to share grace, to be shaped by grace, and to be channels of grace, in our families and in our communities, in the world. And as you know, the world is a little crazy right now. There's a lot of division. And so I think being able to kind of commit my life to a vocation where I can seek to really cultivate, right? Our hope is to cultivate a community where we are experiencing and sharing grace with others. But, for me, it really came out of my college experience where I decided to pursue a path, and there's a longer story there, but to become a pastor and to do this as my work.
I love that. Now, what do you think are maybe some myths or misconceptions in this, industry, so to speak?
Yeah, I mean, this is there's a lot, right? I mean, if people find out I'm a pastor, everyone has some response or preconceived notion of that. And I think for a lot of people, even stepping foot in a church would be intimidating. And so I realize there's a lot of different views of what church means today. Some who've had kind of really negative experiences of churches, some who would just think, why would I ever bother going into a church, right? We're in a really interesting time where there's a lot of spiritual openness, but a lot of people walking away from church. So I guess just one of the things I would say is we truly are a community where everyone is welcome. And I think that, our invitation is just to come and see, right? We recognize that no church can be all things for all people, right? You need to find the right fit, but I know that it can be challenging for some to kind of say, oh, I don't know if church would be a place where I'd be welcome. And as a church, I really would want people to know that everyone is welcome wherever they're at in their spiritual journey, their spiritual questions. We love questions, and we love to help people explore them.
Wonderful. Well, we know marketing is really kind of the heart of any business or organization. So how are you attracting your community to the church?
Yeah, I mean, I think the main way is through relationships. It's people's own experience. But we have our website. We have we're on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, and so social media is certainly part of that as well. But I think the main way that people would be aware of us is just the ways that we serve. We serve Benson Elementary is the closest school to us, and we have a number of ways that we're partnering with them and serving with them. We serve at a ministry called Sunday Suppers. We partner. It's hosted by St. Paul's, a church that's right close to us. We support a ministry called Family Promise, which provides housing for families in need. And so I think a lot of what we do to let the community know about us is through our serving. But I really think the main way for us is relationships and people's own experience in our church, so that they can invite a friend and just say, hey, come and check it out.
Yeah, right on. I know you mentioned, I always ask if people have thought to do your own podcast. And I think you mentioned that before we started that you did, right?
We did. We're not doing that currently. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of our material coming out of our church is online, but not specifically doing a podcast right
Yeah.
now.
Okay. Yeah. So now outside of worship, what do you like to do for fun?
Well, I really enjoy cycling. So cycling would be one of the big things. And then, as anyone in my church knows, I'm a huge Seahawks fan. I'm a huge sports fan. So I think our church is tired of me talking about the Seahawks. But since we won the Super Bowl, it's been, so cycling, specifically sports. I grew up in Seattle. So I'm still kind of a diehard Seattle fan, even though I've lived here in Southern California for many years. I'm married, and my wife and I, we have what we call marriage time every Friday, which we just get together. And that's probably, certainly one of the highlights of the week for me is that time with her. And so spending time with her as well would certainly be something I do for fun.
I'd love that. Well, Tim, please tell our listeners one thing they should remember about Aldersgate United Methodist Church.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back with that question. I'm gonna go back to my sermon on Sunday, which was inspired by the Super Bowl. So apologies to those who aren't sports fans. But I basically said, I think a great church is like a great team. And what we want to be a community where everyone really feels like they belong. So we really want to have a deep sense of belonging. And we know none of this is easy or instant, right? But we really want people to have a deep sense of belonging. We really want everyone to feel like they are contributing, that they make a difference. And then we also want everyone to feel like they're in a community where they can grow. So each and every one belongs, each and every one contributes, each and every one is growing. That's really our heart for anyone who's connected to our community. And I just would want folks to be aware of that.
That's lovely. Well, how can our listeners learn more about Aldersgate United Methodist Church?
Yeah, so we have a website, aumctustin.org. It's a little bit of a mouthful, but Aldersgate United Methodist Church, aumctustin.org. And then we are definitely on Instagram and on Facebook and on YouTube. I mean, the great thing about church these days is you can check it out without ever going, right? So you used to have to drive there and kind of walk in. Now you can just go online. You can see what, our worship services are like. You can check out one of my sermons and say, oh, that was great, or that was the worst sermon I've ever heard. So you can go online and just see and get a sense of who we are. And that would be the best way to do it.
Well, Tim, I really appreciate you being on the show, and I wish, you and your church and community really all the best moving forward.
Well, thank you. Once again, just really appreciate what you're doing, and we join you in seeking to be good neighbors. So thanks for having me.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnporangecounty.com. That's gnporangecounty.com. Or call 714-941-8862.